is Russ. Yeah, I'm back in the car again. What time is it? 12:35 p.m. with a temperature of 79 degrees. Not so bad, huh? This has been an eventful day. This is my second time going to Costco today. Well, that wasn't the whole reason of the event. I got my ears fixed up, as you know, on the previous video. And then I went to Costco because they were right across the street. They were just opening up for what do they call it? Their Costco Elite member. Is that what they call it? What's it called? Anyway, after I got back, I made a video, a Russ's Ride video, had a e-bike to review, so I finished that. So I actually edited both videos already too. So now it's 12:36. Yeah, that's how fast I can pump these videos out, man. Yeah. So, yeah, well, okay, I take it back because part of the review video was already pre-done. Yeah, the Insta360 ride I had done the day before. Yeah, when my ear was kind of messed up. Yep, I wanted to do the whole review that day, but I just felt no. I think that one little 360 ride was enough. I had to head back. You can never tell, because you're not balanced well. It feels, when one ear's clogged up, you feel a little bit unbalanced, a little bit. But in the editing, I finished everything up. So yeah, so now I'm hungry again. So I said, okay, well, let's just go to Costco again, get another slice of pizza. How do you like that? Another slice of pizza. Well, the last one I did, I got the slice of pizza early in the morning. I was the second person in line. Somebody was already there. They beat me out. I was actually among the first people to walk in the door because they were just opening the gate. How did that other guy get in there? Maybe he worked there. I don't know. So anyway, now I'm heading there during lunch hour. Lunch hour could be tough because there's people always in the food court, and you might not be able to get a seat. The only thing with something like that is I may have to ask somebody if they'll let me sit with them. So far, most of the people have said yes, but I have had a couple people say no before. So there's always that. And some people will talk to you, some people won't. I've mentioned this before. So some of the guys, when I find, here's how I choose which table to sit at. All right. First off, I look for people who I think might be willing to say yes. And secondly, I look for people who might be willing to talk to you as well. Because I kind of hate asking to sit at a table and it's just two people sitting there in total silence. That's no fun. You have to kind of look at them and say, would you think this person would talk to you or not? And sometimes you can tell, it'll be tough with this guy. Other times, you don't know, and you try to strike a conversation. They really don't want to talk. You can tell that too. So that's where I'm headed. That's what we're up against. Anyway, today is a pretty good day. Well, right here now it says 78, so it dropped a degree. No, it's a nice day. There are clouds in the sky, but they don't look like rain clouds or anything. And this is the type of weather that's perfect for riding. Now, I was tempted to take another bike out after those two reviews and after the edits, but then I said, I'm still hungry. Forget it. I'll just be I'll just be hungry while I'm riding, and that's no fun either. So I said, I'll get something to eat. Later tonight, we have our Thursday night small group meeting with our Bible study meeting. So usually what I do is I try to re-watch the sermon, because we usually talk about what the things were about as they talked about it on the previous sermon on that Sunday, right? So I'll usually try my best to rewatch that before we go there for the discussion. So I got to do that. But yeah, I think I'm done making videos for today. Okay, well, this one has to finish up. So basically it would be 3 videos in one day. Yeah, we had somebody recently ask me, you know, how many videos do you make? The person at church. And he goes, two a week maybe? I go, no, maybe 5 or 6. What? I guess for the average person, that would be a lot. But you know how I make my videos. Turn on the camera, start talking. Turn on camera, start talking, tell you about my day, tell you about things that are on my mind, and then edit it. How hard could that be? It can't be that hard, right? The hard ones will be really when you have a review or something to that effect, because you have to make some effort prior to the review, and then you do the review. Yeah, so you got things to check out and stuff. So, you know what takes a lot of time, surprisingly, and people don't realize. It's probably one of the least expensive things that I review are these smartwatches. Yeah, they actually take longer than you might think. I think it takes longer to do the smartwatch review than it might even take to do an e-bike review, because you're checking out the functions of the watch, you know, to see if it's semi-accurate at least, you know, like, is it checking your blood pressure right? Is it checking your heart rate right? And all that stuff. Yeah, all of those things are kind of debatable, right? Sometimes they look like they're right on the money, and other times you go, really? That's what it says? So you really can't tell. I've always said on the smartwatches that it's good entertainment, but is it accurate? Don't know. Sometimes it could be, sometimes it's not. Like some of the watches, so one or maybe two of the watches that I had in had blood glucose measurements. Come on, that's not going to be accurate. You know how we do the blood glucose stuff? We stick our finger with a needle, and then we check out the blood. How's it going to really check this by just like a, you know, some type of sensor? I don't trust those. Okay, fun to look at it, but I don't trust it. You know what's the most accurate part of these smartwatches? You know, if you're looking at those medical type things, I would have to say heart rate. Yeah, heart rate, because it's checking pulse essentially, right? It could measure the pulse. That's not that hard. You can do that with that. Body temperature. Yeah, okay, I can see that, right? So certain things you could say, you know, you can trust it to a certain amount, you know, but it's not a medical device. So they always give you the disclaimer that this is not a medical device. So you should trust, you know, truly accurate medical devices. They're basically there for you to kind of get a rough idea where you might be, but I don't know. Blood pressure, I've seen it up and down. Some of them are right, some of them not so right. One day it'll look like it's right, the next day it won't look like it's right. So I don't trust it. Yeah, it's fun to see it, but yeah. So why do I wear the watch? Here's why. I hadn't worn watches for so long. Really, I have a lot of watches too, by the way. I hadn't worn it so long, ever since I got a smartphone. I figured, why do I need to keep this on my wrist when I got a smartphone? But here's why I like to wear it. There's times that it's kind of a hassle to pull the phone out of your pocket, and sometimes it's kind of annoying to the people who are around you. Like, you know, he's checking his time again, you know. Versus I can just glance down at my watch and I'll know what time it is. That's provided you have the always on function on the smartwatch. If your smartwatch doesn't have always on, then you have to kind of tap the watch or do something to wake it up so you can see what time it is. That's not as convenient. Now, if you have the always on function on, it eats more of your battery, of course, because it's always displaying something, right? And for instance, like here, during all this brightness, I can't see my watch as well, maybe. So maybe you have to raise the brightness level. That's going to eat into the battery a little bit more, right? So your battery life can vary based on how you use your watch. And of course, the more you check things like your heart rate and all that stuff, that's going to use up the battery a little bit more. Some of the watches have a function that's like the ECG. Those are kind of cool. Yeah, because you kind of see the pulses as your heart is beating, right? Those are kind of cool. I kind of like seeing that. Is it made up? I don't think so, because I've tested it in the sense where, you know, I says, okay, this, I can see the pulse thing moving, and I says, I'm gonna do stuff that excites me a little bit more, which will raise my blood pressure up a little bit and everything, because it'll, you know, something that excites you, and you can see the graph will start pumping faster and stuff. So it does measure. Is it accurately measuring? I don't know. But you can see it. It's kind of cool, actually, to see that. So certain functions, pretty cool. Other functions, you know, as long as you know that, then, you know, it's worth getting. If you expect it to be perfect, yeah, they're not perfect. None of them are really that perfect. So people have asked me the difference between the smartwatch from Apple and this one. I would say probably the smartwatch from Apple is better. Yeah, but it costs more. So really you have to kind of look at it, you know, as, you know, what are you using it for? For the functions I use it for, I don't need the Apple Watch. The only thing I think the Apple Watch would be good for me, is if I fell off my bike, there's a function that will automatically call an emergency number telling them that you've had a fall. Because if you don't stop it, it'll call it, okay? These others, they won't do that. They have an emergency SOS function, but you have to activate the SOS. Well, what if you're incapacitated and you can't activate the SOS? Then nobody gets the call, you see? So in that sense, the Apple Watch would be a lot better. So certain features, if you want that feature, that would be helpful. Here's where I feel that would be helpful. If you have a stroke and you've fallen and there's no one around you, it's gonna call for help. Yeah, that would be an important feature then, right? Or like, you know, like for us, for e-bike riders, if you fall while you're on your e-bike and you hurt so bad you can't even call for help, that would be helpful then, see? That might be worth the money then, right? So you really have to kind of evaluate and see how you plan to use it, whether it's worth that money to get that watch like that or not. But for everyday stuff, you know, just looking at the time, setting timers on it, taking a phone call off of it, because I can make and receive phone calls off of it. If you want to listen to music, you can do that too, off of it. There's a lot of functions you can use, but just even keeping track of my. Let's go over here. I see Tom over here. Just even keeping track of the. What is he doing? Oh, he's changing paper. Yeah, let him change the paper. He's changing paper right in front of me. He doesn't know I just pulled up next to him. So anyways, it's up to you. If you find that you need certain features, then get those particular type of smartwatch devices. All right, I'm gonna let you guys go. I gotta fill up the gas. Hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Talk to you guys next time.